Hi, I'm Starr, and I want to show you my quilting ruler. I made it so that quilters can accurately and dependably cut and piece 5-pointed stars, like the ones on the quilt behind me or like the ones on the American flag. And you can use your rotary cutter, stack up fabrics, cut them with the rotary cutter, piece them according to the instructions that come with the ruler, and it's all dependable and accurate, and you can do that. And I want to show you some of the many projects that you can do with this one ruler. Starting with the quilt behind me, it's a wall quilt, and I'll show you some other photos of it in my husband's office so you can see how it looks in a real setting. But I wanted to show you here that the spirals of this design are made up of pentagons, and these stars are pieced into pentagons using diamonds and what I call points that come together into perfect pentagons, identical to the ones that are cut all in one piece. Now the center star is made up of two what I call pointy stars, a medium-sized one and a small one underneath, and these are simply appliqued onto the background medallion, and then the spirals are pieced behind it. Now, this diamond is made up of two triangles, which, surprise, surprise, are cut using the same angle on the ruler as the points on this star. So, I'll show you first this quilt in my husband's office. The next project is just a little quilt, wall hanging, or table topper made with 6 of the pentagon stars. Now I'm showing you this one because in the brochure that comes with every ruler is the pattern for this sampler, and it comes with directions for cutting, piecing, putting together this little sampler. Here's another example. Next we go from the very simple to the very complex. The next 2 photos are of a corporate quilt I was commissioned to make for the Husqvarna Viking offices in Cleveland, Ohio. For this quilt, I created a background of stars representing the Husqvarna Viking sewing stars, and I constructed those stars using the smallest piecing that you can do with this ruler. Now we'll go back from piecing to applique. This is actually really simple applique using a couple different sizes of stars. I should explain, shouldn't I? Each ruler allows you to make 4 different sizes of stars, from the tiny ones that I used on the Husqvarna Viking quilt to the great big ones that I use in the samplers I'll show you later on. And here are the diamonds that form the pentagons for each of these stars. Okay, so the next applique is what I like to call Rescue the Perishing. This was a handmade quilt a friend of mine had made and given to her son and his family. Well, the family adopted a puppy, and the puppy decided it really liked the quilt. It was a sad story. So the quilt ended up with me, because they didn't think it was able to be rescued. Well, I rescued the perishing. Using Starr appliques, I covered up all of the creative cut work that the puppy had done and ended up with what I think is a rather interesting quilt. And so now that quilt belongs in my family. Take a look. Now we're back to intentionally designed applique. The first photo is of two smaller quilts, both wall hangings. The longer strip quilt is one of my favorites because it combines tiny stars transformed into flowers, then set into the design with bias strips that are the stems of the flower. Right next to it is a more simple design called dancing stars. Now we're going to take a walk around the house and see some of the examples of quilts that I've been using right here. I hope you enjoy this. Now here's a little quilt done in the dancing stars pattern with a very busy dark night sky background. Of course it's applique, but what might not be apparent is that the stars themselves are actually pieced into the pentagons. Here you can just see that seam going from point to point, forming the pentagon. Now, I've stuffed or padded the stars and added the bias strips to make the ribbons that they're dancing. I've used 3 different sizes of stars. The little one is right down there, and there you can see that pentagon. But I also want you to notice this border. Yep, those are angles that are made with the StarrStuff ruler, so that these angles all correspond with the pointy star points. Here's a closer look at some of the detail of the design I call spiral dance. So the center star, pull in close to that to start with. Oh, white doesn't like to show up on here very well. There we go. You'll see that I've appliqued 2 pointy stars. The star behind is slightly smaller than the star on top. And then I've stitched it in a star pattern as well. Then around that center medallion, we have pentagons. I apologize for the shaky camera. Not quite as steady as I'd like to be. And then we have this circle of, I believe those are the medium-sized stars. And all of the pentagons are done in different celestial fabrics. And again, I've done star designs in the quilting and then used double quilting stitches, all done on the machine, to emphasize the spiral movement, the spinning of the overall design. Also, you'll notice in these sparkles that are spinning off from the center medallion, these are all just points, just like the ones in the centers of the stars, spinning off, and I use different sizes for those. The background quilting pattern is all done on the machine in spirals and in stars. And then I gave it the sawtooth edge with prairie points. And I guess that's I've flipped the spiral dance over so you can see the freehand machine quilting on the reverse, all in the spiral design. There are the prairie points. And also, it will provide a fine background for a couple of vests that have been embellished with applique, and piecing worked into the garments. Okay, this is my country western vest that I wore in Reno, Nevada when we went to a concert by none other than Confederate Railroad. And all the members of the band signed my vest for me. That was a great night, and this was the perfect little vest to wear. Right, and another piece, not in such good shape. I wore this garment to untold numbers of quilt shows, and you can see how I worked the star blocks into the patchwork bodice and then embellished those stars with embroidery made on the Viking Husqvarna Orchid embroidery machine. Okay, here's more. Lots of patchwork, lots of embroidery, and lots of stars. There's another embellished star. Now, I wore this outfit until it absolutely fell to shreds. So now, like any good quilter, I will recycle and rescue it, and it will come back probably as the top of a tunic that I'll wear over leggings. Much more popular in the teens than country vests. Here are just a few more items to give you a brief idea of things that you can do with the ruler. This is a hanging patriotic made up of one of each size of the pointy stars, the 10-piece Pentagon star. Here we have just crazy patchwork put together, and this happens to be a casserole carrier. Hard to tell when it's not wrapped around a pot. This is a pillow cover, and this is one of my favorite designs. I call this star-crossed lovers because the diamonds of the Pentagon star become the points of hearts. Here's the pillow cover you just saw, returned to its pillow. As I said, I call this the star-crossed lovers because I'm just crazy about this pattern. That 5 hearts create a star in the middle. Of course, that's not how we make it. We make it in the points and the diamonds, and then this little applique. So I want to show you real quickly a baby quilt made with this pattern, and I can't show you the real thing because I gave it to my goddess daughter, and so that's her blankie. So take a peek. Although I designed my ruler to construct stars, you actually can do other things with it. Here's a very simple design made of diamonds joined end to end in a chevron pattern. Okay, you can go as wide as you want, and then you can begin building like this. And keep building till you end up with an entire quilt or an entire quilt background made of the chevron pattern. Of course, you could do this in all kinds of colors, scrappy patterns, whatever you like, and just keep on going. And that's not all. Using this same idea, you can add an elongated diamond. Okay, can you guess where I found the angles for that diamond? You bet. Those are the angles right here. So instead of cutting down to the point, I just doubled the fabric over and made triangles. Let's bring that down one so you can see that a little better. Now, wouldn't that make a fun quilt, especially in baby colors? Those of you who've watched the full tutorial might recognize this 10-piece Pentagon star that we used as our demonstration block. Let's see what we can do if we begin combining diamonds and points in some different ways. Let's start by adding another star, maybe down here. Okay, that fits nice. Now remember, we're going to have 1/4-inch seams on both sides every place these pieces meet. So they're not going to look quite so accurate when we're just laying them out. All right, let's put a diamond here, diamond over here. All right, and finish the pentagon. Yes, I ran out of the blue fabric. Just use your imaginations. Okay, so there we have 2 interlocking pentagons. I'm going to lift up this camera. Excuse the jiggle. Okay, and you'll notice that these have straight ends, both at the top and the bottom. I'll put it down before I point to what I'm talking about. You have a straight edge here, and you have a straight edge here. So if we think of this interlocking pattern as one unit, it's not difficult to see that you can connect multiple units of double pentagons. And pretty soon, you're going to have a very nice table runner or wall hanging or banner. That has real possibilities. But we do have these divots here. Of course, I have a solution for that. Here's another diamond in a contrasting color. You can put that diamond right there, or cut it so that it's a triangle, remembering to leave your 1/4-inch seam so you won't really get 2 triangles from each diamond. You need that 1/4 inch. But put one there and another one here, and that gives you a nice smooth edge for your table runner or your banner or wall hanging. Let's see what else we can do with these shapes. All right, pulling them apart. What if I like that straight line. If we were to put another diamond here, so we establish a straight line there. This could be filled in. There's a point. Make a triangle. And there is a very nice straight line. How do we fill in the rest of it? All right, we have a star here. Another diamond. Actually, that looks like another diamond there. Once we get the seam allowances figured in, and then we can just keep on going. Finish off our pentagon, and we've got a nice edge there. Let's put this one down here so you know what I'm saying. So we can have a straight line across here and a pointed edge here, and that looks like a nice border to me. All right, if you've got some mathematical background, of which I have absolutely none, or maybe you've got a draftsman in the family who would like a challenge, you can start building new designs and new quilt blocks using the angles from the StarrStuff ruler. Okay, that's just about all I've got to show you on this video. How do I look? Ready to go do some line dancing and the cowboy cha-cha? All right, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of projects you can make with the StarrStuff ruler. There is a full tutorial online that will show you step by step how to make the stars and the pentagons and the chubby stars and the pointy stars, all with this one rotary cutting ruler. So you are going to want to buy this for every quilter in your life, whether that's mom or grandma or Aunt Matilda or your best friend back on the East Coast who is really into quilting, or maybe somebody in a political party who might just want to do something in their favorite candidate's colors. So, oh, I know. I was going to tell you that I do have Christmas projects, holiday projects, things for those special times of year, and they will have to wait till the next video. So keep watching. I'll let you know when that comes up. Thank you so much, and keep on quilting.